The Vulcan Vault, along with some very special guests, are on a search for forgotten horror flicks and underappreciated monster movies. Ain't It Cool News presents Ain't It Scary Reviews, a month-long exploration of terror.
Welcome to Ain't It Scary Reviews. I'm John Airy, and today we have a very special guest, Steve Niles, author and writer of 30 Days a Night, Breath of Bone, Tale of the Golem, and several other horror comics for all the big four publishers. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Well, what do you want to talk about today?
I thought today because it's been coming up a lot recently, I was going to talk about Dark Star, which is a very early film by John Carpenter and Dan O'Bannon. As a matter of fact, if I'm correct, I believe it was they were still students at the time. I think they were at UCLA Film School when they made this. And what is so amazing about it, on top of it just being like a funny little cult movie, because I saw it at a midnight movie sometime in the 80s, is you can see Dan O'Bannon specifically, you can see him starting to grow the idea for Alien.
Come on. When I brought you on the ship, I thought you were cute.
There's a really kind of very silly side story about an alien that they take on board, which is essentially a beach ball with little clawed feet. But you realize, looking through it, and the way they shoot it, and the narrow corridors and all that, you can see that Dan O'Bannon's just starting to at least percolate the idea. And then later on, when you actually read interviews with O'Bannon about this, you realize, it's perfect because he was influenced by films like It, The Terror from Beyond Space, Planet of the Vampires, Mario Bava's Planet of the Vampires, things like that. And then when you watch Dark Star, you can really see it, come together. And then on the John Carpenter side of things, you can just see right from the start this guy was going to be a great director. It's for, like I said, for a student film and a comedy, it holds up really well. And one of my favorite parts of it is Dan O'Bannon actually plays a character in it named Pinback. And he's the one crew member who's not supposed to be on the ship, and his character has this amazing character arc.
Well, now, give me the gun. You don't know what you're doing. You're a star. You could have killed me.
And he's really funny, and I just can't recommend it, especially for people really interested in making film. It's such an interesting and entertaining movie to see just how these two really famous guys, really talented guys, got their start.
Now, what other films would you compare it to?
It has the spaceship stuff from I think Ron Cobb came in and did the spaceship design, so it reminds me of that the John Dykstra era of stuff, the Silent Running, those sort of the 70s sci-fi stuff. It really fits in well with that, and actually compared to Silent Running, at least it doesn't have that unbearable soundtrack. I know, it's so
terrible.
Sad. I know, I love that movie and I can't watch it because Joan Baez just ruins it for me. It's so sad. That actually I discovered recently because I must have watched, Silent Running you watch when you're a little kid.
Yeah.
That stuff doesn't bother you.
Yeah.
It's like, whatever. It's like the Billy Jack movies,
Yeah.
Just ignore the soundtracks. But I tried to watch Silent Running recently and I was like, oh God.
But the old school ship work.
It's
just
the ship
awesome.
that was all John Dykstra and stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm way ahead of its time too, because in some ways you see stuff in Silent Running that we saw in Sunshine. It's dealing with a lot of early on. The whole reason Bruce Dern, I like how we're just segueing into the movie. Bruce Dern kills, the crew in that is to save the plants.
Yeah.
It's a very hippie idea at the time, but now you see it now, that's just the way everybody thinks.
Yeah. Now, do you think Dark Star holds up on a viewing in 2013?
I really, I just turned some people onto it recently, and I deal with a lot of young artists, and they're all born in the 80s and stuff. So I'm always that's how I test the waters, and I recommended Dark Star, thinking, they could come back saying that was really dumb.
I do not like the men on this spaceship. They are uncouth and fail to appreciate my better qualities.
And they loved it. They thought it was just great. And that's the thing is, even though you can see how the effects are done a lot, there's a great elevator sequence where Pinback is stuck in an elevator shaft. And you can tell that's a hallway. but they do it so well. You know, when you think about it, it's like, okay, you know, you can see they've got a cart and they built the thing and they're shooting the whole thing. And you can see somebody's holding Pinback's legs up, so he looks like but it works. It works on a really basic level that it's just a good movie.
Awesome. Well, Mr. Niles, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Pick for the day, Dark Star. For more news and reviews, keep checking in with AintItCool.com.